Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and it's sadly another defeat. We have to talk about back-to-back defeats in the league for Rotherham. Two in a row, and we'll talk about all the shenanigans at Plymouth. There wasn't a great deal to talk about, but I'm sure we'll make an hour out of it. Mick's back first of all. How you doing, Mick?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Thank you. You?
Yeah, very, very good. And Steve's back. How's it going, Steve?
All good, thank you.
Good stuff. And the only man this weekend with a slight positive from the result yesterday is Kev, having predicted 1-0 to Plymouth. How's it going, Kev?
Green Army.
Oh, good to tell you about. We got YouTube user, good user says, "Good evening, one and all." The Miller Six says, "Evening, everybody. Mass respect to those that travelled to the game yesterday. Pity we couldn't get a result for them." Chris Page said, "All 3 seasons now of long injuries for obviously it's a big issue." Sarah Ogden says, "Evening, all. Overall rubbish weekend. Miller's lost and she had a badly sprained ankle." Phil's with us. Paul Terrick says, "Evening, all. We badly need a strike force." Andrew Bauer, Darren Cook, Chris Tether. Harry says, "Evening, all. All just calm down a bit." Steve Gundy is with us. Kaylee says, "When is Nombe and Zach Williams?" Zach and McWilliams back, and James McWilliams is a good question, actually. I'll come on to that later. I can't heard his name in a few weeks. But Paul Rhodes says, "Back from a long weekend in Plymouth. Should have had a penalty."
I feel a bit sorry for Kaylee.
We should.
I feel a bit sorry for Kaylee because keep asking when is X, Y, or Z back because it's whoever's injured. That list seems to be getting longer and longer every week.
Yeah.
We're ticking them
That's
off.
true, actually. Me and you, Mick, obviously the instant reaction yesterday. Very unhappy having watched it. 24 hours then, 24 hours later. Are you still as unhappy as you were straight after full time?
I'm always unhappy after a defeat. I don't like it, and a defeat where the performance isn't great, but I'm a little less unhappy now. Now I've had time to sort of calm down a little bit. There were some positive parts to it. There were some positive parts to take from it. I'm desperately trying to clutch at a couple of straws here, but there were, but the bottom line is we never looked like scoring, did we? So that's a huge disappointment still.
Yeah. Before we start recording, Kev, you sort of said that you didn't think it was as bad as people have made out. Do you think it was just instantly after the game, everybody's kind of fuming, especially the first half, whereas the second half was significantly better than the first?
I think so. And when I say it weren't as bad as the massive overreaction has been, it was still poor, wasn't it? We still, like Mick says, never looked like scoring a goal. And I think for me, that Joe Powell had a shocker. I thought there were a few had a shocker, but we were missing one thing, and that was someone like Sam Nombe on that pitch. But he plays, or any striker who can put a ball in the back of net, unlike the striker we are playing, we win that game. Simple as that. And I've defended Jordan Hugill quite a few times over the last few weeks. He can't knock his effort, can't knock his trying, but my God, he cannot score a goal. It's just it went fault yesterday for that. I know it were on the halfway line, but for me, he went down again to try and win a free kick. They got ball, 10 seconds later, it's in back of net. Things like that just wind me off scale. And you can defend him all you like. I know he's got his fans out there now, but it's cost us yesterday for me. And the fact that we can't put ball in back of net. And that's what he's paid to do. So someone comes in to replace Hugill and put that ball in back of net. We win them games all day.
Yeah, and I haven't thought back on Steve. I'm of the same opinion. I said to with the Mick or Tom on the group chat that we have that it's the same as the Luton game, really. If Sam Nombe plays, I certainly don't think we lose. And I'm not saying Sam Nombe is going to score 3 goals, but he just does something different that everybody else doesn't do, and that's probably why we lost that game, because we just didn't have anything to change or really hurt Plymouth with.
Yeah, Nombe makes a big difference, but the problem is if you look at last season and you look at the season before, and we don't score many goals.
True.
And Hugill is that factor. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Hugill as a player generally, and I think some of the things he's done this year have been fantastic. Hobbling on and all this kind of stuff. But fundamentally, he's barely scored a goal since he's been here, and he's been here nearly 3 years. Nombe does make a difference because Nombe's got some pace and he can stretch defenders. He's a nuisance. I mean, yesterday I actually sent my lad a text and said, "I've probably got more chance of copping off tonight than we have of scoring today," and that only happened about 40 years ago. and it was that, the first half was one of the worst halves of football I've seen from anyone. I'm not just saying Rotherham. I think Plymouth were appallingly bad.
Yeah.
They really were very poor. But they still managed to put one move of consequence together, which was quality. And, we maybe could have done a lot better with it. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the rest of the time, they did nothing apart from defend well. And we don't have anything up front, really. And when we talk about Hugo as well, about scoring goals, well, he didn't really get much service, did he?
No.
And that's where it always comes down to a lot of the time. Because some of the crossing, we had loads of crossing chances, but they never go in the right place, or the attackers aren't in the right position to expect the cross to come in.
He did have 2 against Blackpool, though, very early in the game. And
yeah, he did. I agree. Yeah, he did. You're right. He has missed a couple, yeah.
Yeah. Usually says we can't put it all on Nombe when he comes back, Mick. And I don't think we are putting it all on Nombe. We kind of put it on just something a little bit different. And I know Etete, for example, who is obviously injured, but he had more legs than Hugo. He could stretch the game. Not as quick as Nombe, but he was able to stretch the game a little bit. Sharif was able to stretch the game a little bit as well. We're just not able to hurt teams by getting in behind it. So it's not all on Nombe. It's all on the fact that we're just using Nombe as kind of the best one we've got in it. So that's maybe why we're using. But we're talking about January and beyond, aren't we, in terms of getting somebody in to help Hugo out a little bit.
Yeah, we are. And it doesn't necessarily need to be Nombe, but you're playing Jordan Hugo up front by himself with essentially 2 players playing as 10s behind him, neither of whom are recognised number 10s. So the argument is, if you need that pace up front, then you play Johnny Martha at the side of him. And he's got the same pace as Nombe. Whether he's got the same will to do the running and strength to do the running is another matter entirely. But at least he's there to help stretch the defence. We're not going to do that, and I accept we're not going to do that. But it's a lack of pace that's excuse me. It's a lack of pace up front that's killing us. My inability to speak. I'm really sorry.
Catching up with him.
Yeah.
But you're right. Without pace, you're struggling up front, and there's no doubt about it. And he's not the quickest thing on 2 legs, Hugo. Our giant Martha sometimes looks quick, but like Mick says, he's got to have it on him to do it. And sometimes he just drifts a little bit. But you're right, Mick. Do you want to carry on?
No, I thankfully I just about finished this, Steve. It'll happen again, don't worry.
But it doesn't look as though, we're ever going to score. I mean, we scored a load of goals against Lincoln, didn't we?
Yes.
On that day, Nombe was playing, and we got off to a good start. And we scored some belting goals. But we don't often score goals where we get the byline, pull it back. We did the other day, didn't we, against Wickham? But some of our goals have been worldies, actually, this season. So.
Yeah, they are.
But anyway, where we go, I'm not sure. We go to January, I think, is the answer. But we've still got a month's worth of football to play between now and then.
Well, exactly. We have a few comments as well. Tom Smith saying we should be playing 2 up front against Blackpool, Plymouth, Ayres, or Hugo, or as mixed as Martha, maybe. Mike Miller says, I don't know what I was no more disappointed with the Pullman or Matt Ham shot afterwards. He sounded very like Evans last year, calling the way in a game many didn't see. And to defend, I'm sure, a little bit there, Kev, we're maybe a bit too close, but if you look at any comment from any Plymouth fan yesterday, most of them are saying, I can't believe we've won that game. Rotherham dominated and battered us in second half. So maybe we're just too close to see it a little bit, because I thought that when listening to Ham show, but then like, so you look at the reaction, maybe we're wrong. And Plymouth fans are out on this occasion.
Yeah, I think so. And it's nice actually for a change for away opposition fans to come into on social media and admit sometimes that the team should have lost. Which, I mean, that just proves we think we play poor. So Plymouth fans think that imagine what they think about their team. And they've got a decent team. They come down from Championship level. No, they lost a couple of players, but they've still got a good squad. I'm not sure about Ami's reaction. I saw it. I think it's frustrating. I think it's Belnova. Like, I apparently he's been told he can have a striker or two in January, but let's be right, season's done then. Season's over by then. I know a month ago we were talking about we're in the mix and all that. We're not. We're now looking down out, let's be right. So by the time January comes, we might pick another start point. We're now looking down. But for me, the season's it's going to be too late by the time the January transfer window comes. So it's probably just frustration. He knows that we should have got somebody in sooner. There's clearly something going on with this Duncan Watmore behind the scenes where I know he wants him. I don't know if the money's holding the deal up, but he's probably frustrated, and it's showing.
Yeah, absolutely is. Let's go back to the start, Steve. There was a couple of changes with Reece James coming out, which we don't know the extent of the injury, and same with Benson. We don't know the extent of the injuries yet. But changes to be expected. What it obviously did mean was we had to again put Joe Powell left wing. I suspect Matt Amshaw kind of earmarked this game as well. We can go back to a normal kind of setup and system. But the James injury comes in, and we're kind of hamstrung again by having to play Joe Powell in the first out left wing back, and he struggled once again, unfortunately.
He did, and that was the problem. We play the Blackpool game, and we get 2 players back, and then we lose 2 players, and we could really have done without losing either of them, because Benson does actually make us tick a little bit. And yeah, Joe Powell didn't have a very good first half, but I actually give him credit because his second half was much improved because he was moved into the middle, and he showed quite a bit of energy and dynamism. But he's got to get to the point where he's not left wing back on Saturday. Can't afford to have him left wing back anymore.
No,
Coletta are probably again. Is Coletta left or right footed?
Right, I think.
He plays on left though, doesn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I think he's probably ready for 90 minutes, or at least, starting the game, and then, if necessary, coming off 10 minutes from the end or whatever. Again, we're spinning plates, aren't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, the changes didn't do us any good because Reece James does help a lot. Benson makes things tick.
Yeah.
But he was just an appallingly bad first half. They just didn't help the game. They were misplacing passes. No energy to it at all. So we went 4-4-2 in the end, didn't we?
In the end, I think we did, yeah.
And again, we looked as though we got a bit more energy second half. So whatever changes we make, we are struggling to put the right pins in the right holes.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. But just to kind of come up with a different angle, Nick, on again, a positive side of things, that you could flip it and say for the first half an hour, although we didn't create too much, we put them under a decent amount of pressure. We had quite a lot of corners. They were completely arm's length. And not only were they arm's length, their fans were starting to get on their backs quite a lot, to be honest with you. So then it's obviously one moment which comes from the left-hand side again. If we take that into half-time, yeah, it's boring. Yeah, it's not good to watch. But we kind of had them almost where we wanted them in terms of frustration. They're the home side. They're going to make things happen. And we just didn't really let them happen until the goal.
This has been a problem all season, though, hasn't it? When we've gone 1-0 up or whatever, we get our foot on a team's throat and then we just let it off.
Yeah.
Instead of going in for a kill, and that's been a problem all season. And it's something that Matt Amshaw is going to have to address, and I'm sure he will address. I guess with excuse me, it's easy at this point to we've lost 2 games now. We've not performed very well, so let's all fall back on it's a rebuild project and everything else. We can do that, I guess. We all know that that's the case, but we felt that after a 10-game unbeaten run where some of the performances were pretty decent, some of the results and goals were outstanding, that we might have been ahead of schedule, if you like. Quite clearly, we're not, by any stretch of imagination. So, yeah, we've got to get that killer instinct. And if we had that killer instinct, we'd have put them to bed by half-time yesterday, I'm sure. Because they would... And this is no disrespect to Plymouth. I'm not trying to dig them out. They were poor. And their supporters are saying exactly the same thing. But so were we, So it's not like... But we need to go in for kill when we've got the opportunity, and we're not doing that. Even when we're 1-0 up,
Yeah. And then We'd probably go on to the goal itself, Kev. We had a lot of corners in that first. I don't know the numbers, but it was, must be 5 or 6 corners in that first half. And I know they've got some big centre halves, but we're constantly wasting these opportunities. And in the second half, keeper tried to help us with one of them. But if we make one of those opportunities count in the first half, it's a different. If we got 1-0 up yesterday, we win that game. They wouldn't have come back, but you could feel it and sense it coming. But we're just not taking those opportunities, which, to be fair, we did create those opportunities from corners.
Yeah, definitely. It's like us beginning of the season, first 5-6 games, when we went 1-0 down, we all knew what was going to happen. Like you said, if we'd have got that goal yesterday, that early goal, their fans, they were already, I think they're right back. They were booing him from first 10 minutes. It was bizarre. I've never known not like it. He only did one misplaced pass and they're on him. I thought, this is it, take advantage, but we didn't. But the set pieces, I think we did. I think it was 7. I'm not sure. But again, we seem to have lost that knack of being able to put the ball in the box. The same against Blackpool overnight. We just, whoever took it, I think they're only Dan Gore, whoever puts it past the 6-yard box. Everyone else hits the first man. It's just bizarre. And they are a big team, but like you said, we need to go back to our bases and our strengths, and that is scoring from set pieces. Get Chuffy and Rob Scott taking long throws or something, because we need someone to put some ball in box, and that always frustrates me. That anything can happen when that ball goes in the area. It can be a deflection, handball, penalty, anything can happen, and we just don't do enough for it. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, I agree. Something we definitely need to get better with.
Someone asked what I mean.
I just said if we lose one more game, we might have to go back to chocolate orange chat. Tom Swift saying he's getting chocolate orange Baileys on his list this year. Check that out, Mick. Have you tried the chocolate orange Baileys yet, Mick?
No, not yet. I might give it a go. It sounds incredibly sweet, doesn't it? To be honest, but
sounds glorious to me.
It does sound good, but I think it might end up being a bit sickly. I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know.
On to the goal, Steve, and we give Plymouth some credit. I think it's a decent goal, but again, it's down that left-hand side. Powell's kind of out of position again, and crossing. It's decent, but it still feels avoidable.
Well, they threaded it through him and Baptiste, didn't they, and then pulled it back. And Rawls, who is a good player, actually. I mean, he always used to score against us, didn't he, for Cardiff? He had nobody with him. He just ran onto the ball. So I've only managed to watch it twice, that goal, because I didn't want to watch it anymore, even out of research purposes. So somebody didn't pick him up or didn't follow him from midfield, and he just got a free shot in. It was the only moment, I think, of quality in the whole game, frankly, and because we didn't really put any moves like that together properly. Put some neat moves together in the middle of the field, but nothing like that was that incisive. So yeah, it was a good goal from their point of view and a bad one from ours.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I thought it would lift them, but it didn't really.
No, it didn't.
They never bounced on it, did they? They just went back to doing what they were doing before.
Adds to the frustration, doesn't it? They were clearly down on. I mean, just had a great midweek win away at Wickham. They were still obviously down on their confidence.
It's interesting. Just on that note, you've got what's his face? Wilshere at Luton, ex-Premier League player, decent Premier League player. You've got Tom not so cleverly at Plymouth, who was allegedly a decent Premier League player, but they both try and play the same way or a very similar way, and both end up being hugely frustrating teams to watch if they were your team. You know, they're trying to play a way in which, and I keep banging on about it. I know I do. I keep banging on about it, but they haven't got the players with the ability and skills to play in that fashion. And what ends up happening is they just end up playing around the back, knocking it about amongst themselves at the back, and then everything petering out. And Plymouth did exactly that on Saturday, as did Luton when we played them. You know, completely ineffective. And I don't know whether it's just when there's any coincidence with these Premier League players that are now becoming managers. This is how we think we should be playing football, when in reality, it's just ineffective, tedious, boring crap, really.
It's
It
like
was-
quality, isn't it? It's just quality. There's not that quality at League One level.
No.
You're managing footballers who are never going to play at an high level, probably. So
Yeah.
hard for them.
Yeah. What I would say is Watford fans did quite like the job that Cleverley did. So maybe he's just having a bad time at Plymouth and he has got something about him. Time will tell on Cleverley rather than.
Well, it might do, but he's got some quality players, like Kev said. You know,
Yeah.
he's got championship quality players to a degree. You know, they've not offloaded all of them, and yet, you know, they're one of the worst teams in division. The league suggests, and what we saw yesterday suggests.
Yeah. Tom Swift says, well worked goal, but everyone's at Huddersfield Saturday. Everything would go down the left. Richard says the teams are sussing out our defensive weakness, Mick. And we mentioned this on the Blackpool chat or Blackpool review, but I don't know. I suppose I don't know what else we can add to this, what we've already said about this left-hand side issue, but it's or am I overplaying that a little bit yesterday? Should we just be saying like what Steve said, it's kind of a good ball in between the players and maybe the runner should be, or is this another left-hand side problem?
I don't know. Yeah, it came down left. I think my view differs to Kev. I think it was a foul on Hugo. Personally, I've only watched it back once, so I don't know. But yeah, it's just poor. It's just poor defending. Whoever didn't track the man back, we should have cut out the cross. Yeah, it's just poor, and we've got to do better. We have to do better.
Yeah, Andrew Barlow says he thinks it was Mick's love child who didn't track rolls back. I think that means you would. I don't know.
I mean, it's a poor choice of description, really, isn't it? Because
I can't see the resemblance. I'm struggling.
No.
there's I get where you're coming from, Andrew.
But
Best mate or something like that might have been more easier to accept. Maybe it was. I don't know. I still don't think he should have been taken off at half time, but that's me.
I might have to have a look at it again just to make sure it wasn't your love child.
Andrew Waller, funny. Charlie's with us from the Bristol Rovers podcast. They've had a fun weekend, haven't they, Charlie? Tune into us for a laugh. Mick, I just want to come to you briefly on the Yearwoods coming off at substitution. I'm not going to tell everyone what you put on the group chat at halftime, but you were very unhappy with the Yearwood coming off at halftime.
Yeah,
was that because kind of Powell stayed on Bayern in the first half, or was there something else to it?
Yeah, I felt the change should have been made on the left-hand side, personally. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way Drew Yearwood played. I thought he was really good. I thought he was effective at breaking up play. I like him as a player. I think he's got something about him. And if he gets a run of games, I think he'll really start to contribute. I think he did yesterday, like I said, in breaking up play and causing them problems. He's a decent player. And Powell's having a howler at the moment. And I don't want to dig Joe Powell out. He's a quality footballer, but he's struggling so much at the moment, you know. And yeah, all right, he was more effective in the second half, but there was no end result for him. He needs a spell, just a couple of games. Let's try and get his confidence back a little bit. I felt it was the wrong decision personally, in my view. But what do I know? No.
Well, we all know nothing. Let's go through some previous comments. Tom Swift said we're getting stuck back into the relegation battle. I said at the start of the season, Keat will be replacing Atete and Sharif in January. Harry says, I only watched second half. I was quite happy with the 45-minute performance. Strike away from getting something. Race Medley says, keep the faith. We are a decent striker away from being a very good team. Might disagree. Says, no, we're not, Ray. A decent striker would be a big help, of course, but this side is way short. Yeah, fair enough. But we did make the change at half time, as we mentioned, Kev. Coletta comes on again, much like it against Blackpool. And he just makes an instant difference. You know, he's just so effective. He again gassed out a bit, 20 minutes, half an hour into the game, I think. But if we can get him fit and playing most of game, 90 minutes or close to, we're going to be a side that can hurt players in multiple areas because he's just a constant threat.
He is. And I do think, like you said, go back to Cletton in a second, but like you just said, the injuries. I know every team has them, but we have been so unfortunate with injuries. And the Tete up front, he got injured just as he was about to show us what he can really do. He's a class player. Williams, we're so unfortunate with injuries, but Coletta, he needs match fitness, needs game time. Because when he came on at half time, made whole difference down that left-hand side. He likes getting ball. He runs it, plays. He's strong. He just gives us that something different. That's what we need. We need more of that. But we need to keep him fit, and that's the problem we seem to be having, don't we? There's something. Yeah, don't seem to imagine keep players fit. So keep him fit, and I keep going back to the January transfer window, but in my head, I just think season's gone. And I don't want to think that, but I really do think it has, because only 3 weeks ago we were talking about promotion. Now we're looking over his shoulder, and January it's kind of meaningless. I'd rather see Josh Ayres playing every week and giving him starts. Obviously, we need to be safe first. I'm not saying do it now, but get safe, and then play his youngsters, bet him in. Players who are going to be big next season. But again, what do I know? I'm not a football manager. But yeah, Coletta's class. Need to keep him fit.
Yeah, I completely agree. Harry says when players run out for so long, you forget how important impact players can have. So I completely forgot how good he was. Yeah, and it's 2 games in a row now, Steve. It's it was better for longer yesterday. So you'd hope, as long as he stays fit this week, that we might be able to see a start for Coletta. And if James isn't fit, then that doesn't solve a problem, but it certainly helps fix it a little bit by playing a natural defender on the left-hand side, and we can do whatever else, because he's just got a bit of X factor. I think on this show last week, Tom or somebody compared him a little bit to Chio in terms of he's really strong and aggressive and likes to drive with the ball. He really does hurt teams.
He certainly does. Yeah, like I said earlier on, I kind of, if he's in decent nick on Friday, I have a feeling he'll start him, because he can't play Powell at left, and he'll start him on the left, and then we'll see what happens then. But he's a unit. I mean, he looks strong. I wouldn't like to see him marauding towards me, and it's my job to stop him, because he does use his strength superbly. He's got a bit of pace about him as well. And he's not that bad on the ball as well, but we've not really seen him enough to know how good he is, really. But he is good. There's no doubt about it. And when you think we've got Martha, we've got Hall, we've got him, Mix, Love Childs, we've got him and all. I've seen some criticisms of the recruitment team again. And you think, apart from not managing to get some of them in that they wanted, I think they've done a really good job this season, because they've left us with half or 2/3 of a decent team that's really, it's just waiting to burst out. I mean, you go 10 games undefeated. We're starting to play a style of football that is recognisable. We just don't have anything really at the top end to finish anything off. But yeah, Coletta will be great if he can stay fit. Absolutely.
Yeah. The recruitment team, it's not their fault we've had so many injuries.
No, it's not.
Rob Scott's done a good job, the recruiting side of things. For some reason, whether it's the training ground, Matt Amshaw said it's not the training ground. Is it all down to bad luck? I don't know. But that's not their fault. They've brought in some quality signings. Sadly, most of them are injured.
Yeah. I think reading between the lines, and I think the way Matt Amshaw's pushed them at the start of the season was too hard. And I think he's half admitted that in some of his interviews that he's done. And I think he's learned his lesson the hard way. We've got loads of injuries because of, and like I said, he had to start with, but maybe it went on for a little bit too long, and that's what's causing these problems. We'll find out in 6 months' time if he's still here, won't we? If he's kind of
learned his lesson. Push him, mate, because Richard Wood were the quickest in the 5 kilometres, and he retired last year. How's that look at?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. He had to get him to a point where he was happy with him, and that fitness-wise, other than injury, I think we are there. But Tom Swift said, I think the recruitment team has cost us for the last 4 seasons. Just his opinion, we've signed some players with bad injury records that should have been a red flag. It goes on managers, though, mate. We look at what Matt Taylor wanted from his players. You look at what Steve Evans wanted from his players. Those are the older guys with injuries that we've brought in. For me, I agree with Kev. I don't understand any issues with the recruitment team. You can argue whether this budget was big enough, and argue whether it was backed enough by Tony Stewart. I think that's an argument we can have. But every single player that we've brought in the summer, I think, has added something. I think and how many times does that happen? That never happens. Every single one has got something for me, and I honestly don't understand any criticism of the recruitment other than the injury side of things.
No, I mean, if Benson had... Sorry, mate, carry on.
Go on, Steve, carry on.
If Benson had been not injured in the last year or two, we would never have got anywhere near him.
No.
Yeah.
For example. So if you can, and it is a gamble. So you either decide, are we going to try and take him as he is, try and keep him fit, and we've got a really talented footballer that should be playing championship, or are we just going to say no? And it is down to budget, a lot of this. I mean, it's like the Watmore thing. Who actually knew, I don't know whether you knew more about this, Kev, that he was going to come or wasn't going to come or had been here and trained or had an offer. Nobody knows. Everything just put 2 and 2 together when Wednesday signed Redmond and said, oh, Watmore can come here now. Well, he might not want to.
And I know he was training at Wednesday. I know that. And then they signed Redmond, didn't they? So they couldn't sign him. But I'm sure I said he does want him. But as far as I'm aware, that's as far as it's gone. It might, it might be wanting 15 grand a week. Who knows? We don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. Anyway, enough said.
We'd be criticised for taking him on then if we paid him 15 grand a week and he didn't score it first 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen the comment that you're referring to that from Ian about the recruitment team and Rob Scott, and Ian and I go back a long way, and we went to primary school together. So I think this is the part where I completely disagree with him, absolutely disagree with him. So I think this is the point in true social media style that I should start calling him names and abusing him because we don't have the same opinion. Is that right? So I have to call him names. Yeah. I don't agree with him. I think Rob Scott's done a really, really good job, and I think the recruitment this season has been very, very good, really good. Looking to the future, looking to build rather than just simply doing what Evans wanted to do, was knee-jerk, oh, I've heard of him before, we'll have him kind of recruitment style. So we'll reap the benefits of it, I think, in the next 18 months, personally.
Agreed.
Yeah. I agree. I'm sure this conversation will come back up in time to time over the next 6 months.
Every time we lose, Matt.
Every time we lose, yeah.
Because whenever we lose, the names start to come out on Twitter. Name calling of Amshaw, name calling of Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
And then doubt over the recruitment team. And it just gets really tiresome. I actually hate losing, not necessarily because Rotherham have lost, but because I then need to stay off social media because it sends me blood pressure through me out.
Yeah. But if we didn't lose, what would all those people do with their lives, Steve? They've had nothing to complain about for the last 10 games. Come on, think of those.
I ordered 25 quid worth of Chinese food last night. Felt really sick, but I was happy.
it does make you wonder sometimes that, like, a few weeks back when we were on his winless, on his winning run and all that, these same people were suddenly my Amshaw fans. Now, 2 games later, I mean, I suppose I was the same with you, Gil, but I've stuck with what I've said. His effort's there, but I think I'm justified to say my part about him, which I think is now costing us points, in my opinion, which is not good enough.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let's talk about kind of the big talking point of the second half, Kev, which is the penalty incident on Josh Ayres. I want to talk about Josh Ayres in a minute, a bit more detail to us, but there's a blatant penalty at the back post. I don't know how else to describe it, Kev. For me, anyway. What was your view on the incident, and how quickly did you know it was a pen? Straight
away, you could see Josh Ayres' reaction. He was fuming. He was raging at linesman. To the fair to referee, he didn't have the best view, but the linesmen were absolutely banging line, had a clear view of it. And he was at the angle of the right-hand side pulling as well. Yeah. He couldn't not give it. Anywhere outside that box, anywhere else that pitch, it's a free kick. So we've said it many times before. It's the most blatant penalty. Even the Plymouth fans afterwards were laughing and joking about it on Twitter. Absolute blatant nailed-on penalty. And that is down to poor officiating. Referee, you can say to him, he weren't sighted, but his linesman let him down because he had to give that. And I've said it about other big teams before. If that's at the other end and that's a Plymouth player, he'd have given that straight away. So yeah, it's just I felt for Josh Ayres. We'll talk about it again. He said, I think he got us in a few good positions. Nearly had a good header. Nearly scored a good header. I think he's looking good, but nailed on penalty for me, 100%.
Yeah, I agree, Steve, and I think that it takes. I think the referee had a really good game. It was barely noticeable. Referee, I thought everything was just solid and, like I said, barely noticeable. But that's Tom says stonewall. It's an absolute stonewall penalty, and I don't know whether Lino's bottled it. I agree with Kevin. I think where the referee's position, I don't think he can see it, but the Lino has decided not to help the referee out there. It's just a shocker.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's not that long ago. I can't even remember. It wasn't Blackpool. It might have been Wickham, where one of ours got his shirt ripped off his back. Didn't he? I can't remember who it was, but and you think you kind of get used to it in some respects. Well, that should have been a penalty. And it wasn't a penalty. And you just think, oh, okay, carry on then. I do agree with you. I thought the referee was not that noticeable when I don't really notice. I mean, I come from the point of view that all refs are kind of average of a certain standard. You'll get a good decision, you get a bad decision. But I thought he was better because I didn't really notice him at all until that moment when I started to call him names. But you're right. I mean, young Ayres, he looked straight at the linesman because the linesman should have spotted that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and Chris Tether says what I suggested him. It didn't give it because Ayres guts to the ball, and I think that may well be the reason. But it's not enough of a reason not to give it. If he got a shot on target and the keeper saves it, I can maybe understand that. But he got his foot on the ball. It was barely a shot, were it?
No. We're making an assumption there, aren't we, that that's the case?
Yeah,
but it's utterly irrelevant when he got the ball or not, is it? You know. It was a poor decision. And the frustrating part about it is, and I'm with you on the ref. I thought he had a decent game. You know, where he booked two of their players, I think for 2 fouls. Yeah. Fantastic, really good referee, and I thought that was really good. But then not just this referee, but many others. The slightest little contact and a player will throw himself to the floor and will give a free kick. And there are times when there's been a couple on the games on TV today. You can literally see and predict at what point the player is going to fall over because of the positioning, then they still give these free kicks, and then that one he's had the arm pulled out of his socket and pulled off his feet, and we're not having it. It doesn't make sense, and it's just that lack of consistency. The ref might have been unsighted. The lino definitely wasn't unsighted. It's one of those things, isn't it? You win some. Oh no, you don't, do you? You just lose
we lose some. We lose some.
Yeah, lose some. You lose some more. Yeah.
Harry
says, did he not give a pull on the arm for Plymouth like 5? He gave it. Yeah, he did. Yeah. But I don't know. Would we have deserved the goal if we get the penalty in the goal, Kev? Do you think that would have been deserved?
Yeah, I think based on the second half performance, I think, like I said before the show started, first half we were really poor, but I think I think we got dragged down to their level, and that sounds daft because we're next championship club, but we did. And then second half, whatever Amy said at half time, we looked a different outfit. We looked dangerous. We had another flood of corners, corner after corner after corner. It goes back to I think we'd have definitely deserved that equaliser, and I think we'd have probably gone on to win it as well, if I'm honest, because their heads would have gone down. Fans that have got on the back straight away, but sadly we've got nobody at the minute who can put the ball in the back of net, and that's what it comes down to. We can all the criticism on Twitter and all that about tactics, this, that, and other. It's down to one fact for me, that we've got no one who can score, no one on the pitch who can score. Simple.
Yeah, I think we were a little unlucky. I mean, that one from Holmes that was kicked off the line, stuff like that, and where the keeper decided to help us out, and the ball just didn't fall for any of our players. So it did get. It's one of them where you thought we're never going to score it.
No.
So we had that. Yeah,
that's 2 games on trot. Blackpool at home.
Yeah.
I don't think we were really ridiculously bad against Blackpool. It was a bad game, but we had loads of chances. I
thought we played some decent stuff. Yeah. Actually.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have lost that 3-0 at all. We made mistakes.
Look at this. We're turning into a positive. We're going back. Happy Clapper in it again. I'm a big fan.
I can't be bothered clapping. It's too painful.
Yeah. Let's move on to Josh Ayres, Steve. Still hasn't started in the league. Started the 2 cup games, virtual trophy, with 2 goals in 2 games in that competition. But he was very, very good. And what he does, he has that Sharif about him where he just finds himself in the right position. That offside one, it was a very, very good effort as he went too early. But there is definitely something there in Josh Ayres. He's got something.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. The only concern I've got on the times I've seen him is he's not as mobile as I'd like him to be, frankly.
Yeah.
But when you look at his positioning, I mean that one that we've just been discussing, which is the penalty, cracking little position to take up because he knew where the ball was going to come. I mean the goal against Salford, I mean that was, even though the defending was awful, he didn't half whack that one in. So there is definitely potential in there. I think they've got to loosen his limbs up a bit. How they do that, put him on a stretch bed or whatever they call them. But yeah, I'd certainly persist with him. I don't think he can play up front on his own at the minute, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think one of the guys put that, play him up front with Hugo. Again, play him up front with Hugo. Maybe he can help the old man, help him.
Yeah.
I don't know. But there's definitely something there that needs to be wrought out.
Yeah, I agree. And we saw that a bit with Sharif, Kev, when Sharif was better when he played with Hugo. Because he just had somebody to guide him through the game a little bit. And I agree with Steve. It'll probably help Hugo having it did yesterday. Certainly help Hugo having somebody alongside him with just a bit of freshness about him.
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, back to John Hugo, I do. He's not getting the service, he's not. But when he does it, I don't see him taking him. And I think he could complement Josh Ayres, but we're not in that. It's a necessity we can't have. We're not in a position where we can try things like that out and hope it works. We just need someone who can score goals. And Josh Ayres is new. I think he's one for the future. Definitely. Is he going to get more than 5 goals a season? Probably not. But is it 2 from? Someone's just put on there. He's got to start Saturday. I'd love to see him start Saturday. I don't think he will. I don't think he can start Saturday. I think it's just. Although, is it a risk we can't take because it's not working with Hugo up front? So is it? It's this is why I'm sure he's getting paid to be a football manager. This is why I would never be a football manager. But making decisions like that, it's almost like a lose-lose situation. He brings Josh Ayres in, drops Jordan Hugo. Josh Ayres has a stinker. It could potentially ruin his season. Fans will then say he made wrong. It's not for me, but I like him. He's definitely one for the future. If shame we haven't got a crappy cup game midweek where we can try and both hearts together, but we haven't, and we've got a couple of tough games coming up before the January transfer window. For me, it's too much of a gamble.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you throw him in. Although Douglas floated, didn't he? I suppose when he was thrown. I just think it's such a big ask against a decent Huddersfield side on Saturday, which will come on to Thursday. I think it's a big ask. If it's Hugo up top on his own, that's Groundhog Day. Yeah, possibly. Paula Rhodes says their keeper was a time-wasting so-and-so. Yeah, this rule's got to change, I think, with this goalkeeper nonsense. It will change. There's no point, I suppose, there's no point I was talking about it more, but it will change, but it should absolutely. He did it twice, didn't he? He did it twice yesterday, going down and, an absolute shambles. Matt Miller says, if 3 points out of 15 for this team, striker or not, is just not good enough, Mick.
True.
It's not, but it's not, no. But you can't go beating all the time. You can have good runs and bad runs. What it screams to me is mid-tableness. You've got in this team has got quality to go on a massive unbeaten run. This team also has the quality to go on a 10-game run without winning. It just screams mid-table to me. Yeah,
it does. It does at the moment. And we've still got a legacy of players from last season. It's not entirely Hamshaw's side. He's rebuilding. Some of those players will remain. Some of them won't. But it's a 46-game season. Yeah. We have had a 10-game unbeaten run, and some of the performances have been really good. Some of the performances have been average. We've now lost a couple. What happens next? Let's wait and see. It could be a 10-game losing run. Yeah. It's unlikely, but it could be. We could go on another 10-game unbeaten run, and then we're going to be up near playoffs. Who knows? But it's a long old season. We're all long enough in the tooth now to understand that things change massively between Christmas and the end of the season, for the good and for the worse. So let's wait and see. But we've got to look at the positive side of it. Is that we've got some players in this squad now who are quality players. They may not be fully there yet by any stretch, because if they were, they wouldn't be playing for Rotherham United. But they will be, and we've got a manager who will bring them on and who will develop them, and hopefully they'll either stay with us and bring us some success, or they'll leave us and bring us some money.
Well,
So it's
that's what should happen.
yeah, or we'll let the contracts run down and they'll go for free. One of those two. I don't know which it is. You've got to take a longer term view, and yet, if we'd scored there and we'd scored there, we would have got 6 points in last 2 games. We didn't. I accept what Mike's saying there, but you can't just take 2 or 3 games or even 10 games as an indication as to how the season's going to end up. It's a 46 game season. It's a long way to go yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Could win next 3. We're talking playoffs. Lose next 3. We're talking relegation. It's our football world.
Yes.
But there's
One of those two things will happen.
There's 26 games left, isn't there?
Something like that, yeah.
26 games. We've still got loads of points to play for. And we're approaching the January. I know it's got not good enough, but, saying it's not good enough means, well, not a lot, really. It's not good enough. Of course, we're all disappointed with it. I mean, I was really angry after yesterday's game, but, we just carry on, because this was always going to happen, that we actually lost a game. And it was the reaction of everybody to how we come back after losing a game, and we've lost 2 games, and the reaction hasn't been phenomenal. But it's down to the players. I mean, us talking nonsense, that's by the by. It's up to what the players do on Saturday. So let's hope that they put in a better performance, that he has more players back, that we've got Nombe on the bench, or at least maybe starting, I don't know. And let's see where we end up. That's the beauty of football. You just never know what's around the corner.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I agree. And I mentioned this on the game after the review of Blackpool, Kev. It's about not throwing the baby out of the bathwater. There's still loads of positives to take out this season so far. Yeah, we're only 2 points of relegation zone, but Plymouth are still there. They're not going to go down. Blackpool aren't going to go down. It's the table's still kind of sorting itself out, and we've shown plenty good enough that we'll be nowhere near that relegation zone for end of season. I don't think we'll make playoffs either, but I don't think there's anything to worry about. Just chill, everybody. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. I don't think we're going to go down. Nowhere near going to go down. I also, after the last 2 performances, don't think we're going to go anywhere near the top either. Almost feels like a pointless season. But then we've got to remember what Amsha's been brought in to do. He's been brought in. We keep saying it, and we'll get slated for saying it, but he's been brought in to rebuild that squad and to rebuild the team and bring in youthful players on long contracts, which is what he's done, and develop them. And like Mitch just said, to either stay with Rotherham for the coming years or sell them for big money and move on, if that's the case. And you can't not, like you said, there's so many positives in that. There's so many players in positive in that. Yes, the results have not been great. Yes, we've had some ups and downs, but so far, touchwood, it's not been horrendous. We've seen some good games. We've seen some shocking performances, but like I said, it's kind of almost like we know we're going to finish mid-table. I just know we're going to finish between 9th and 15th. If I could put a bet on, I don't think they'll put a bet on that, but if they could, we'll be in that mix. And is it a wasted year? Probably, yeah. But it's a rebuild, and we've got to keep. We've got to keep using that word, because that's what he's doing, and he will be given time. I do think Tony Stewart, or if Tony Stewart sells and someone comes in, I do think he'll be given time to do that, because he's doing something right for me. So if he's backed properly, I think he can go on to good things.
I concur completely. Matt Miller says not good enough means stop taking your heads out of the clouds and take a dose of reality rather than dreaming of what ain't going to happen.
You've got to have dreams, Mike. You've got to have dreams.
Thomas says the season has been poor, not much better than last year. No need for knee-jerk, I think he means, but in February when the bottom 4 we need to worry. Yeah, absolutely. Bottom 4 by February, absolutely. This league, I just can't see it in this league. If we've got a reasonably fit Sam Nombe, a fit Denzel Hall, a fit Dango, and all these other players, they're nowhere near relegation zone, these players. They're just not.
That's if Dan goes here in January. That could be.
Don't start with that.
Don't say that.
Mate. Could call him back and send him to Championship. We know it could happen.
Yeah.
Of course it could happen. Yeah. Anything could happen, as I said earlier on. But not Dan. Please, not Dan.
Yeah, Haddis says we were 4 points off the playoffs before the 2 losses. That was our chance to get in the top 6 and progress. Yeah, look, I think maybe one of the reasons we're all frustrated is that this is a missed opportunity. we said pre-Blackpool and pre-Plymouth that it felt like a good time to play both these teams because they were Ian Everett still getting his ideas across at Blackpool, and look at the crowd reaction at Plymouth. It was a good time to play both of those teams, and we've come out with nothing, and we've underperformed them. And maybe that adds into the frustration wherever it's coming from that going into those games. We felt like, it's a missed opportunity now.
Yeah, we should have known better, shouldn't we? Really, these are 2 winnable games. It's disappointing. It's just disappointing, I know. But excuse me, give me a minute.
It's such a poor league. I think that's a frustrating thing. It's sorry to swear. It's a crap league. Lincoln City are they still top or up near top?
Certainly up there.
They're up there. Yeah, they're up near the top.
Shocking team. How are they up near top of that league?
They dropped 2-goal lead yesterday, didn't they?
I know. There's a few of them. I mean, Stevenage punching massively above the weight. I thought they'd have dropped off by now, but Revs have got them playing well. They're picking up results. Then you look at teams like around us, like Plymouth below us, Huddersfield is struggling. It's just a shit league, and that's the frustrating thing. That's why it feels like a missed opportunity. Not just losing them 2 games, but we have a squad when fit good enough to get out of that league.
At some point this season, I'll make a bold prediction now. At some point this season, we will be challenging those playoff spots. Whether it's at end of season or not, I don't know. But at some point this season, I think that we'll be challenging those playoff spots. Whether we stay there is an entirely different matter. But I'm absolutely convinced because the league is dire, as Kev's just alluded to there. It's absolutely dire. And we have got the players capable of getting right to the top of it. However, we're halfway through the season. We're not performing consistently. We're not scoring goals. That's not going to happen. But I'll make the prediction now. At some point by, hopefully it's May, we'll be challenging those playoff positions, but we will.
Yeah.
I'd love to agree.
I think that's fair. Adam Bashford says the season... Adam says the season is playing out pretty much as Hampshire predicted with a new younger squad. The injuries are crippled us again. We are struggling to make any change that impact games possibly. I agree. Last season we were promised one thing, we didn't really get it. You're getting exactly what you were promised pre-season from Matt Hampshire. I don't know why any of us are surprised, really, I suppose.
And he's as well, like Douglas, like Josh Ayres. They are getting game time.
Yeah.
But he's not only is he bringing players we've signed and developing them, he's also bringing some of his youth players in as well. So it's all good for me, that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is just going to be after every game that right. Let's move on to the next one, whether we win, lose, or draw, because that's how this season's going to go. You're not going to like the point you were just making about the fact that this was a good time to play them 2 teams. Yeah, it was, but it's a good time to play any team at the moment.
Yeah,
and it will be throughout the season because we are growing as a side, and I'm quite not excited because I don't get excited anymore. But I'm looking forward to seeing how we cope with, for example, Stevenage, like you just mentioned, Kev. Next time when we play them at home, have we made progress to the extent where we weren't piss poor against them like we were at their place? Are we going to give them a game? Of course we're going to give them a game because we've got some good players. Yeah. It's just that on occasions like yesterday in the second half, we just dropped off, and I don't know why. But we have got really good players, and I'm not sure I agree with Mick about the playoffs, but
I don't think anyone does.
I'd love it. No, I'd love him to be right. But there again, you think, well, if we get on the playoffs, we won the playoffs, how would we cope next season? And I know that's looking a bit far out across.
I didn't say we were going to get in the playoffs. Listen to what I said. I said we'll be challenging the playoff places at some point in this season. I didn't say we'd be there in May and get in the playoffs.
I know you didn't. But there's always a risk if you get that close. But anyway, I think a bit like Kev, it's going to be mid-table. I think if we finish 10th or 11th, it will have been a good season and progress on the pitch. And again, let's see what we get in January, because we've got to get more players in January. Because if we stay as we are now, then we are risking.
Yeah. I think it's the same for probably 15 teams in this league, that if you have a good January, you can push yourselves into that playoff picture. Obviously, not everybody's going to have a good January, but that's how wide open the league is at the minute. You only need a good January to be in that mix, I think. But we will see. Ray Smith says when we beat Huddersfield on Saturday, we're back on track. Everybody goes on McDonagh, but how good is Baptiste? Baptiste will be brilliant these 2 games. I think really good.
Yeah. It reminds me of that Sariki we had from Sheffield United as well.
Yeah.
Very, very good player.
Yeah,
Scored a goal the other day, didn't he, Sariki?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Zach Viner, everybody did. Not many people liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look what Zach Viner did.
Let's wait and see. There's the potential on Saturday for at least Nombe and Zach Jules to be back. And if you've got Zach Jules and Sam Nombe in your squad, you're on good ground. McWilliams might be back. We don't know anything about him. There's a chance Lenny might be back as well. Pre-Christmas was the talk for Lenny as well, so he could be back available as well. Colette probably available to start. Bear in mind the situation. The squad already looks better, assuming we don't get to pick up any injuries in midweek.
God, Lenny.
We don't know how injured James and Benson are. There's a chance they might be back potentially as well.
You mentioned all them names, and then you chuck in the mix of Tete and Sharif and all them. There's 11 players there. 11 players who probably would start.
Yeah,
I'd forgotten about Lenny. How could I forget about Lenny?
I know. Yeah. Yeah. And defensively, we looked really sound yesterday. I know we conceded a goal. Defensively, I thought we looked really, really sound and solid. Tom Holmes was really good. Baptiste was good. If you've got a solid defense, you aren't going down. You're just not. You always need to score goals. But if you've got a solid defense, it's a hell of a base to work from.
For the record, I thought Tom Holmes had a really good game yesterday. Thomas Holmes, I thought he was really good in central defence. He won all his headers. And I thought he
someone just needs to remind him that he's a centre back sometimes, because against Blackpool, you were up front 3 times.
Yeah.
I'd have given him man of the match yesterday.
Okay.
Just saying. So when I was listening to you two, he did get an honourable mention, but I would have given it to him.
Yeah. Mike says he loves my optimism, but then again, didn't I predict to score 3 at Plymouth? No, I predicted a 1-0 win. What I said was I wouldn't be surprised to go see us get 2 or 3 if but we didn't happen anyway. So don't worry about it. What do you think of Raggett coming on, Mick, as a makeshift striker for 5 minutes? We didn't do anything, but did you enjoy it?
Do you know? I thought, here we go. I'm going to look all right. Clown here when he bangs one in at last minute. I would have been the happiest man in the world, to be honest, had he done that. But why not? Why not? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, but then if you're going to do that, you've got Hugo, you've got Ayres, you've got Raggett up there. At least put the ball in there.
No,
which we didn't do.
Yeah, I just think when it's injury time and you're 1-0 down, I just think why waste 30 seconds bringing a player on? Just send the centre back who's already on pitch up.
Yeah. Chuck Tom Holmes up there. Yeah, that's fair. Right, we're not finished yet, but please do make sure you've subscribed if you haven't done so already. I don't think we're going to get 2,000 by Christmas because it's only 11 days away. But if you haven't done so already, please make sure. I think 34 we need to get to 2,000 subscribers. So please make sure you've subscribed if you haven't done so already. We're now going to finish on the headline competition. We have 4 headlines for you guys to pick from. It's back. I forgot to do this last week, but it's back now. So Richard Etchers starts us with: the Pilgrims progress as the Millers sink again. Some nautical themed ones on these. If I didn't know. Sean says Millers grim as the Pilgrims win.
Ooh.
Ryan Cudworth says Millers miss the boat as the Pilgrims sail to victory. And finally, Rob Dixon says a pointless pilgrimage for toothless Millers.
Number 1 for me.
Number 1.
3 for me. Although I don't know the entry for Rob's there on the last one. That was but
I'm going for number 4. So go on then, Matt. Pick your one.
Number 2. I'm going for number 4. I'm going for Rob. Pointless pilgrimage for toothless Millers.
Yeah.
I like it.
You're the winner this week, Rob. Thank you very much. Cheating up no end reading them today, so thank you.
Pilgrims versus Pillars would have won it for me, but no one said it.
Phil adds in here: Millers make no pilgrim progress. Good effort.
Yeah.
Sorry. Right. Anything else, boys, we want to mention before we wrap it up for
I was going to mention quickly. Obviously, I don't know if anyone saw news that Ken Booth Jr. passed away. Ken I don't know all that, but he were obviously when we did the Millerman project. Ken Booth Jr. did a hell of a lot to get that on at Millmore. He put on a free bar. He really did love Rotherham United, and what he did was brilliant. So yeah, he passed away. So R.I.P. Ken Booth Jr.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Condolences to the Booth family.
Absolutely. Thank you all for being with us. I've been very much enjoyed tonight, and I think we've gone back to being a minor therapy session today. I think I certainly feel better having talked it all through with everybody. We will be back on Thursday, which will be a preview of a Yorkshire derby, the pre-Christmas Yorkshire derby with Huddersfield coming to town. Hopefully we'll have some team news we can talk about then. And we'll get a scouting report done. I know some Huddersfield fans, which I like a lot. So hopefully we'll get those guys on to speak about the Terriers and the Northern football they're meant to be playing. I said make sure you've subscribed if you haven't done so already. Give the video a thumbs up if you're watching live. Make sure you give it a video a thumbs up if you're watching on X or Facebook. Make sure you follow or like it as well. We would very much appreciate that. And don't forget, on the Tuesday before Christmas will be our Christmas special. Danny's promised us a Christmas quiz. So make sure you join us on that. What's the 23rd, I think it is. We'll do a preview of Bolton as well. And then we will also do a Christmas quiz, which is always fun. I might see if we can get a prize for it, just for that. Thank you, everybody, for being with us tonight. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Kev. We will see everybody next time. Thank you for watching, as always. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots! Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant! The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United. What's got around the back? And Richie Wood has done it again! It's done! It's Georgie Kelly!
Do me a favour, drop me off in